Right now at 5, UW Health employees have a new tool helping them take care of you, what you can expect at your next trip to the doctor.
Plus, less than a year into its existence, how the Office of Violence Prevention ended up staring down the barrel of a funding lapse for 2027.
And the Badgers suffer a tough loss at the Final Four after an impressive season. Sports director Andrew Banster tells us where the volleyball Badgers went wrong last night. You're watching News 3 Now at 5. And good evening. Thanks for joining us.
We're starting off with a look at the forecast. The weekend is almost here, just a couple days until Christmas, and Blaze Keller is here with the details. Blaze?
That's right. We are looking at a little bit of snow out there, but it's probably not going to stick around as we get closer to Christmas because temperatures are going to be in the upper 40s to low 50s as we are opening up those presents. This snow might not be completely reaching the ground, but it is obviously showing up on radar 3000, stretching from with the heaviest snow here, Mount Hora, Black Earth into Prairie du Sac. Back along 151 just north into Dodgeville, Ridgeway, Highland, Richland Center back into Loganville. We're up towards the Dells now. A little bit of some heavier snow just outside of Camp Douglas over Necedah. We'll zoom it out and take it back into Greene County and parts of Dane County where that snow is light, but it is beginning to fall. So this is just kind of the precursor, the leading edge of warmer air that is actually set to arrive pretty much from now until the morning hours on your Saturday. Southerly winds taking on over. This is going to be the coldest we'll be all throughout the night. How warm we get into Saturday, and we'll take a look at what Christmas has in store for us in the full forecast.
All right, Blaze, thank you. The Wisconsin Department of Justice says the Dane County District Attorney will not press charges against Madison police officers for the death of a man in their custody.
On December 30th of last year, police responded to a report of a car theft on Anamark Drive. Officers arrived to the area and arrested 32-year-old Richard Johnson. Shortly after, an EMS was called to the scene. After EMS evaluated Johnson, officers took him to jail, and when they arrived, Johnson was unresponsive. An ambulance took him to the hospital where he died the next day. In its release on the DA's choice not to press charges, the Department of Justice said the Dane County Medical Examiner's Office determined Johnson died from complications of cocaine toxicity and that his death was an accident.
The Salvation Army of Dane County is warning of imposters pretending to collect Red Kettle donations. 2 people walking inside Westtown Mall are requesting donations in the group's name with an open red kettle and bell. Salvation Army says its kettles are clearly identifiable, always positioned either in or outside a business. Trademarks include a fixed red pole with yellow signage, in addition to a Salvation Army branded red plastic kettle with a locked top. Any other kettles are not authorized, and your money will not benefit local programs.
We have an update to a homicide case in Madison. Today, the court entered notice of a plea hearing on January 5th for James Barnes Morris. Earlier this year, he pleaded not guilty to homicide with domestic abuse for the death of a 24-year-old McFarland woman. He's scheduled to go to trial later next month. If you or someone you know is experiencing domestic violence, the local helpline is on your screen.
The federal trial of a Milwaukee County Circuit Court judge is now over. Last night, a jury found Hannah Dugan guilty of felony obstruction in an attempt to help an undocumented man before her court evade federal immigration officers. Jurors also found Judge Dugan not guilty of the misdemeanor count of concealing an individual to prevent arrest. The case inflamed tensions over the president's immigration crackdown, but U.S. Attorney Brad Schimmel said the case was not political.
There are immigrants who come to court as victims as often as, or there are immigrants who come to court as defendants. If you have a warrant for your arrest, you should be expecting that somewhere, sometime, law enforcement's going to catch up with you and execute that warrant for arrest. It isn't unfair that law enforcement chooses that place, a public hallway at a courthouse, to do this.
Now, after the verdict, Judge Dugan and her attorneys left the courtroom without speaking to reporters, but we later heard from her lead attorney about his disappointment with the ruling.
So obviously he's going to take this seriously as well, and I would just say the case is a long way from over.
Judge Dugan faces up to 5 years in prison. Assembly Republicans are threatening to impeach Dugan if she does not resign.
Right now, the U.S. Department of Justice is releasing thousands of files from the Jeffrey Epstein case. Today is the deadline to release those files. The president caved to pressure from fellow Republicans signing a bill that set this deadline for the agency to release all of them. The records released so far include logs, grand jury testimony, and interview transcripts. Many of the documents, though, are heavily redacted.
Well, this week we are remembering the lives lost in the tragic Abundant Life Christian School shooting a year ago.
And in the wake of that violence, Governor Evers started the Office of Violence Prevention. Our Ellie La Liberté is checking in with the office nearly a year since its creation.
Just earlier this month, the office rolled out its grant program for violence prevention across the state. The $10 million for those grants comes from one-time federal COVID-era funds. But the director of the office tells me once that runs out at the end of next year, there is no other funding lined up. More long-term stable funding for the office also did not make it into the final 2-year budget passed this summer, according to the office's director, Amanda Powers.
We're seeing a fluctuation at the federal level, and programs are experiencing this fluctuation of unreliable funding from both the federal government and from the state government. So what I would hope is that we can see long-term stable funding so that folks can rely on this funding in the future and know that there's going to be a consistent opportunity to apply for the funding.
There are 5 categories for the grants, including suicide prevention and domestic violence prevention initiatives. Grant applications are due January 16th, but Powers tells me awardees could start seeing the money by March.
Ellie, thank you. The Office of Violence Prevention did face scrutiny when it was created. You can hear the director's response this Sunday at 10:30 on For the Record.
A nearly century-old bridge over the Mississippi River is now gone. Video, as you see right there, of the implosion earlier today. The Blackhawk Bridge connected Lansing, Iowa over to Wisconsin over the Mississippi. It was the only bridge for about 30 miles in both directions. It carried about 2,100 cars a day. Drivers who regularly use the bridge have to now use the ferry service. The bridge's replacement will be ready until 2027. Well, it was an amazing run for the Badger volleyball team.
An unforgettable season. They came so close to in the national title game, but fell to top-seeded Kentucky in 5 sets. Sports director Andrew Banstra is here to break it all down. Andrew?
Yeah, Susan and Eric, at the start of the season, Kelly Sheffield told his team that they didn't know each other at all. That was something that he said offended a room full of new faces. But over the course of 6 months, they developed lifelong bonds, and even if they came up just short of their ultimate goal, this season was one big emotional win.
I think there's so much love that this group has for each other, and there's just so much connectiveness within the girls, and we love each other so much. So I think, the locker room afterwards, there were some tears and there was lots of hugging.
Heartbreaking for everyone. We worked so hard this year, and I don't regret a thing. We gave it our all the whole time, and I'm heartbroken for our seniors.
The Badgers lose their pair of All-Americans in Mimi Collier and Carter Booth, but they will return a whole lot of talent next year and try to run it back. 2025 was certainly a year to remember.
That's for sure. Thanks for taking us on the ride, Badgers. Thank you, Andrew. And coming up, we'll check in with Blaze for a look at your weekend forecast and how long this cold weather will stick around.
Plus, the story of a local band teacher set to represent Wisconsin at the Rose Parade on New Year's Day.
And with a roster depleted by injury, the Packers will need their veteran leaders to step up tomorrow in Chicago. Jason Wilde has the story next from Green Bay.
Wall Street ending the week in positive terrain. The Dow Jones up 183, the NASDAQ a strong 301-point gain, and the S&P 500 adds 60. Stay with us. News 3 Now at 5. We'll be right back.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5. Moving forward.
A DeForest teacher is representing Wisconsin at the Rose Parade on New Year's Day.
The band director of DeForest High School is one of 300 band teachers who were selected. Our Tanasia Shaw visited DeForest High today, and Tanasia, the instructor, said, understandably, he's a little nervous.
Hi, Eric and Susan. Yes, Doug Haight has been a band instructor for approximately 15 years. He thoroughly understands music, but all of the ins and outs with the 5.5-mile parade in Pasadena still makes him nervous.
Once in a lifetime opportunity, a little bit nervous, right? Sometimes it's leading by example, as in this case, and sometimes it's imparting some wisdom and knowledge in ways that's fun and exciting and engaging and that kids can identify with. There wasn't a playing audition, but you had to fill out a big application with kind of your resume. I actually thought that I had maybe been skipped over and hadn't made it because I hadn't heard for a while. And so when I did get the email saying that I was in, I sort of had to read it a couple times to make sure it wasn't a spam email and that it was a legitimate email. This, for me, was a bit of a walk the walk moment and put myself out there a little bit and take that risk and do something a little bit outside my comfort zone and show them what I can do. And hopefully that inspires some kids to reach for some of their goals too. I do try to do some running and things. It gets harder in the winter, and that's one of the things we've pointed out to some of our warm weather band director colleagues. It's a little bit harder for us in the wintertime to get physically ready for it because it's a 5.5 mile parade.
Haight also played for UW's marching band, and unfortunately, he did not get to play when they were in the Rose Bowl because the year after was the year that they actually appeared.
That brings back some memories, doesn't it?
We've been out there. They've already got the bleachers up. I was just out in that area not too long ago, and it's
congratulations to
go.
him.
That's a great honor.
He'll never forget it.
Yeah, it is quite the scene.
Thank you, Tanisha.
All right.
Well, a chilly Friday to end the work week. That's sort of an understatement, isn't it, Blaze?
Yeah, because pretty much from here on out, our temperatures are going to warm through Saturday afternoon. Back into the 30s we'll go with a little bit of a rain-snow mix through, I would say, the first half of the day. Sunday, we're back to being cold. And then Monday through probably the end of next week, if not further, we're going to be staying pretty mild. In fact, we might get into the low 50s on Christmas. Again, temperatures from here on out are set to warm on up. With southerly winds and cloudy conditions, we're going to welcome in our next round of warmer air for Saturday. Could squeeze out some light snow over the next couple of hours, emphasis on the light. But as we go into later parts of Saturday morning, as temperatures continue to climb, the snow may turn over to a brief rain-snow mix. We're at 8:30 in the morning on Saturday. There's the purple indicating that mix. This is going to be light in nature, not expecting a lot in the way of accumulation. Take a look. We're not even recording any measurable snow, trace or to an inch at that matter, across southern Wisconsin as we head into your Saturday afternoon. And any snow that we do see tonight will likely melt tomorrow because of how warm we are going to get, just a few degrees above freezing. So let's jump ahead because between now and Christmas Eve, we're not really anticipating a whole lot. But with Christmas Eve right around the corner, what can we expect? We are looking at a little bit of rain possible on Christmas Eve. And as we go overnight into Christmas on Thursday, could be dealing with some fog. I think Santa will get through it. He's got that reindeer with the red nose. He should be able to. But if you're going to be bringing in family or friends, just know they could be running into some patchy fog waking up on Christmas. Christmas is going to be mild underneath these clouds. Southerly winds are going to help get our temperatures into those upper 40s to low 50s, the warmest day over the next 7 to 10. I hope you enjoyed the snow that we got on Thanksgiving because that's been the snow that's been sticking around, but will likely melt by the time we go into Tuesday, certainly by Christmas Eve. With temperatures in those 40s both Tuesday, Christmas Eve, flirting with the 50s on Christmas Day. I really don't think White Christmas is in the cards this year. The last brown Christmas we had was back in 2023. We had a white Christmas last year. We're probably going to have a brown Christmas this year. Speaking of that high temperature of 50, where does that rank in terms of, our warmest Christmases on record? Well, the warmest was in 1982, back at 56 degrees. If we do hit 50 degrees in Madison, it will be within the top 10 warmest Christmas high temperatures on record. The average high, a mere 28 degrees. So we are certainly a little bit warmer than average, but it could be worse. We could be not even getting into those single digits above zero like what they did on the coldest Christmas. There is a look at your 7 to 10 day forecast. A bit breezy if you're heading down to Chicago to cheer on the Green Bay Packers, but as winter officially starts, it'll feel like it, 23 degrees. and then it won't feel like it. 30s on Monday, 40s on Tuesday. We've already gone over it. Maybe some 50s on Christmas, and then we're back into those low to mid 30s to wrap up your Christmas weekend going into that following work week.
Meanwhile, the Green Bay Packers, as Blaze mentioned, getting ready to play the Chicago Bears tomorrow night in a huge game down at Soldier Field. And with these key players out for the game, the Packers are going to need to lean on some veteran leadership to get back into first place tomorrow night.
One player seems to show up time and time again as one of their best and toughest players. News 3 Now senior Packers writer Jason Wilde has more from Green Bay.
On every team, there are players that set the tone. For the Green Bay Packers, that player is veteran running back Josh Jacobs. Not only is he productive, not only is he a leader in the locker room, but he also plays through injury, including a knee injury that has been bothering him for almost 2 months and has him listed as questionable on the Packers injury report for Saturday night's showdown with the Chicago Bears at Soldier Field. Now, no one around here expects Josh Jacobs to sit out that game. Not with what's on the line, first place in the NFC North. And for Packers offensive coordinator Adam Stenovich, who has been around Jacobs now for almost 2 full seasons, nothing surprises him and everything impresses him.
His leadership and his work ethic and just his willingness to battle for his teammates is one of the more impressive things I've seen. He exemplifies everything it means to be a Green Bay Packer, just like how much he loves the game and he loves his teammates and what his body's gone through this year, and just his ability to get himself out there every week and play at a high level has been incredible. I hope our younger guys are really taking note of that, because it's a special thing what he's doing. So I can't say enough good things about what he's done for us, for sure.
We'll have full coverage of everything you need to get ready for Packers Bears, and coverage of the game itself from Chicago on our website, channel3000.com. And while you're there, make sure you sign up for our Packers newsletter, which delivers that coverage directly to your inbox every single day. In Green Bay at Lambeau Field, Jason Wilde, channel3000.com.
Thank you, Jason. Up next at 5, a nearly week-long manhunt comes to an end. The tip that broke open the investigation into who the Brown University shooter was.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5, moving forward.
At the Capitol, a bipartisan effort is underway to roll back some restrictions on wedding barns. In 2023, Governor Tony Evers signed Act 73, creating a, quote, no sale event venue permit, meant to act as a guardrail for event venues like wedding barns, where groups can bring their own alcohol for events. But the law limited venues to just 6 events per year with just wine and beer. The new bill would raise the event limit to 36 events a year and expand what alcohol can be served to include distilled spirits. Groups would also be able to hire bartenders to serve at no-sale venues.
The Associated Builders and Contractors of Wisconsin will open an apprenticeship training center in Madison. The 36,000 square foot center will be on City View Drive. That's right next to ABC's headquarters. It will serve as classroom and lab spaces for apprentices in and around Dane County. Those classes are scheduled to begin in the fall of next year.
In a statement, ABC Wisconsin president said the new center is needed as enrollment in apprenticeship programs continues to grow year over year. In 2025, nearly 2,600 apprentices were training and are employed by one of ABC Wisconsin's 1,100 member companies. Officials say more than 400 apprentices are receiving electrical, plumbing, and HVAC training in the area that will be able to use that new space.
In Mineral Point, a man has died after a car fire last night. The Iowa County Sheriff's Office says just before 9, a call came in about a car fire. 58-year-old Timothy Walrack lost control of his car while turning into a driveway, and his car went into a ditch and caught fire. Walrack was not able to get out, and he died at the scene. The Mineral Point Police Department is leading the investigation into the fire. No other information is available at this time.
In national news, the manhunt for the Brown University shooter is now over. Investigators identified the suspect as 48-year-old Claudio Manuel Neves Valente of Portugal. Portugal. He was a former student at Brown. The search for him ended 90 minutes from Providence at a storage facility that was located in Salem, New Hampshire. The suspect had rented a unit there and was found with a self-inflicted gunshot wound last night. It had been 6 days since the shooting when a witness came forward and described his interactions with Neves Valente before the shooting.
I think it was under an hour. That person came forward, and that person led us to the car, which led us to the name, which led us to the photographs of that individual renting the car, which matched the clothing of our shooter here in Providence.
Investigators also believe Neves shot and killed an MIT professor on Monday in Brookline, Massachusetts, near Boston. Police say the two went to school together and possibly knew each other. The investigation into the shooter's motive remains unclear.
We'll get a final check of the weather with Blaze when we return.
Tonight, we go on the road with Steve Hartman with a secret Santa who's making a difference in people's lives. And the Department of Justice has just partially released the Epstein files, what's expected to be hundreds of thousands of documents, videos, and audio recordings. That story ahead on the CBS Evening News.
Coming up tonight, News 3 Now at 6, the United States Justice Department is suing the state of Wisconsin for not handing over personal data about voters. We'll hear state elections officials' response to the federal government later on News 3 Now.
And Blaze is here with a final check of the forecast.
Yes, temperatures warming up throughout the overnight hours. Whatever temperature we are at midnight is essentially going to be our overnight low, but it'll probably be right around 18, 19 degrees. And from there, we just continue to warm on up underneath mostly cloudy conditions into the mid 30s by the time we head into your Saturday afternoon. Maybe a light rain snow mix in the morning. Enjoy the 30s if you're not a fan of the cold, because we're back into the 20s, but sunny to end the weekend.
Lose some of that snow too. There it goes. Thank you, Blaze. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good weekend.
The CBS Evening News is next. We'll be back in 30 minutes for News 3 Now at 6.